Hello, how are you? Welcome to the video. So this is going to be a little different than things I usually do because, I don't know, I usually have things planned out to an extent when I record a video. But the reason I'm sitting here right now talking to you today is because I was actually just finishing up a walk going around. I walk every day, as you know, and when I was walking, I was really thinking, and I got into a deep thought about life. And every now and then, I'll have these moments where I'll be walking or doing anything, during my day, and I'll just get deep into thought, and I'll think about something. I say, like, damn, I really want to express my mind right now and talk about some stuff and get things off my chest. Like, this would be perfect to sit down and just talk with people in a YouTube video. As you know, Markiplier is one of my biggest inspirations to this day. And he would do that. Sometimes he'd just feel like talking. He'd turn on his recording software and he'd just talk about anything, life and stuff like that, and like let his feelings go out unfiltered. And I always respected that, and that's what I've wanted to do too. And I'm having one of those moments right now where I kind of just want to talk, and I feel like it's been so long since we actually sat down and talked, and just about everything and anything. And basically, if I'm not making much sense right now and I'm doing a lot of rambling, I'm going to try and sort of allow things to make a bit more sense. I usually don't do these sort of things because I always say, like, oh, I have a great idea, let's go do this, let's go talk about stuff, but then I'd end up getting distracted, and then I'd never end up sitting down recording, and by the time I actually got into my room, it was like, what was I wanting to do again? Or like I'll partially remember, and then when I try to record, I'll like forget everything. I'm not gonna lie, I'm forgetting a little bit of stuff already, so that's why I'm probably gonna try and get to the point here. I was thinking about life. I was contemplating life, and I was thinking about where I am right now versus where I necessarily envisioned that I'd be right now. So for those of you who do not know, let's give a brief recap. For those who have heard this story 1,000 times, you're like, oh my god. But for those who don't, I want to give a bit of a history lesson. I've been on YouTube since a long time. I've been on this platform for a while. I think I started, and I can't even guarantee the date I started, but I believe my first account was in 2009. Mind you, it wasn't necessarily a serious account. I believe it was just me following that trend of like the original YouTube, where people would post like soundtracks from games or movie scores, stuff like that. Stuff I really liked at the time, whatever phase I was going through, because I was a child. I wasn't even legally supposed to own a YouTube account at the time, but that's how it started. And eventually, as I grew older, YouTube kind of blew up into the phenomena that it is today. And as YouTube evolved, so did I, because, I was growing, I was learning new things every day, I was getting more educated, and I was always wanting to try new things. So as YouTube changed, and the times changed, YouTube changed, the content changed, and one phase of YouTube that I always enjoyed, and that I thought was like the peak of YouTube, and I still believe that to this day, was when the age of Let's Play started. When content creators became a thing, like the birth of that. And I know you could argue like that started a lot before the Let's Plays, and you're probably right, but I say like when content creators got like their biggest attention, at least for me personally, and I think my generation, was when Let's Play started. That's when the content creators started becoming a thing. YouTube changed from what it was into something of a new era almost, to people producing their own content, whereas a lot of older videos were just reused content that people didn't even own. For example, posting a soundtrack from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, or the soundtrack of Lord of the Rings Return of the King, or a song from Final Fantasy VII. It became much more than that. And people started making their own content. And I fell in love with YouTube around that time. I found Let's Plays weird at first. I'm not going to lie. When I saw my first Let's Play, believe it or not, this is going to sound really weird, but I was playing a game on the Xbox 360. It was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And I was not a very good gamer when I was a kid. I'm probably still not the best and most intelligent gamer to this day. But I struggled a lot in certain games, and when I got frustrated, I'll be honest, I would just scream and then cry because I was so frustrated. But I would like quietly cry because I didn't want people to know I was getting bent out of shape over a video game, right? I didn't want my mom coming in going, "What the hell? It's just a game." But I would get frustrated, and then I used to go on this site called GameFAQs. I don't know if that was a site or if that was just part of a site where you could look up things about a game, but then I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do in that game wasn't actually listed there. Like, everything except for this one thing, so I was frustrated, right? And I ended up looking it up on YouTube. I don't know how I got brought to YouTube, but I looked up YouTube, and then I saw someone playing the game, or at least what I thought was just raw footage of the game. I'm like, okay, let's see what this video shows. And then the person started talking. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to watch this. I just want to see the game. I don't want to hear some middle-aged man's commentary. I was a kid, right? I was younger. And then as I kept watching, this guy just, cracking the odd joke every now and then. And I was like, okay, first of all, this guy's helpful because he actually showed me what I needed to do in the game to advance. And plus, he seems like a pretty cool guy. And I can't remember for the life of me the name of this person, but he was a YouTuber playing Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, the video game for Xbox 360. And it's a shame that I don't remember who it was. And then I kind of started watching more, and I noticed that my family started watching them too. Let's Players, that is. And when I'd go over to my dad's house, my brothers and I would sit in this basement, turn on YouTube, and start watching a content creator play a game. Or a YouTuber play a game. And a lot of people we watched initially were people who are still known to this day. The Rad Brad, we watched him play Dead Space. We really loved his Dead Space videos. A lot of people we didn't actually even know the name that I really wish I did to this day. We usually watched just people play games that we played because we wanted to see how other people did. And then we found Markiplier. And he just changed my life, man. He did. Like, he opened my eyes to a whole new side of YouTube and a whole new side of people because he's just an awesome person. He's so wholesome. He is such a kind-hearted person. He's very selfless, which I respect, and I've tried to be selfless my entire life too, even during times where I wasn't necessarily. He's been such a huge inspiration to me to this day. And when I found him, he was playing a game called Slender the Arrival. That's when I first saw him, because we went through a Slender Man phase in my household, ladies and gentlemen, where we were obsessed with everything Slender Man. And we were watching a bunch of people play the new Slender Man game because Slender the Arrival was the new game at that time. And we wanted to see people playing it. We found this guy and we're like, whoa, he has a really cool voice. We didn't know him by name yet. And then eventually, after watching a couple more of his videos, his Slender the Arrival videos, I still go back to visit every now and then. Still, they were awesome. And the energy he brought when he was playing, just talking, the confidence that he brought, the cockiness at times too, was just awesome. And I really, really enjoyed watching him. And then we did watch more of his content when we learned who he was. And we started watching some of his vlogs, got to know him as a person. We found out more about him because what I always respected was he shared his life with people. Because YouTube was his life. That was what he wanted to be his career. And when I first started watching Markiplier, he wasn't nearly as big as he was now. Mind you, he had a bit of a fan base still, but he wasn't the Markiplier we know. I don't even know if he was partnered with YouTube yet. I'm not sure. And, getting to watch him grow was such an awesome experience. It got to the point where I would tell people, my friends, I'd say, I watched this guy named Markiplier. Do you know who he is? They'd be like, no, who's that? And then as the years went on, people would be like, oh yeah, Markiplier. I'd be like, oh, you guys know Markiplier? Yeah, we know Markiplier. And then I'd be like, yeah, I started watching Markiplier back then. Then it got to the point where people were like, you're a liar. We don't believe you. You haven't been watching him that long. Because he blew up so fast, there's a lot of people that probably jumped on that bandwagon and said that. But I can successfully say I was there. Not at the beginning, but at a point where he had just I think just started to grow. Like when he was just slowly starting to grow into what he is now. And I'm proud that I got to watch that, and I'm so proud of him, you know. For what it's worth, some random person in Ontario, Canada saying that I am. And he inspired me to start my first YouTube channel. So 10 minutes into the video, and we're talking about that now, finally. So I first started my Let's Play channel in oh god, have I already forgotten when I did it? 2014. I launched what was called Crimson Gaming. And what the original purpose of this channel is I also used to make short films back in the day. My company was then called, or my channel that is, it was never actually a legit company, was then called Baylor Studios, which we then renamed to Crimson Studios. And the original intent of Crimson Gaming, which was a separate channel, was all of the people who worked with me, my friends basically, so the crew at Crimson Studios would be the ones doing Let's Plays. It wasn't just supposed to be me. But then I kind of decided as I was doing it, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just do it by myself. And it's not that anyone did anything wrong. I just started recording a few videos in advance, and I said, oh, I kind of like the idea of just me doing this. So then Crimson Gaming soon became, that is, wow, I can't speak, the Crimson Gamer. And that's a name I had for a while. And that's a name some of you still know to this day, which I think is pretty cool. And then, you know, I had some good moments. I look back at this footage and I really cringe because I tried so hard to be Markiplier when I was just a little kid. I gave up vibes that I wanted to have his personality because, you know, I said, oh, if it works for him, it'll work for me. But I came across as almost douchey. You know, I came across like I was some jerk. And the way I talked, the mentality I had, like, what worked for Markiplier did not work for me. It gave, like, the exact opposite effect on people as Marks did for me. And I didn't realize that for a while. For years, actually, I kept going on. Then I eventually changed my name to CallMeCrimz, and some of you guys still know that, because this is the rebooted channel. Eventually, you know how I said I was kind of giving off the wrong vibes? So, in the original The Crimson Gamer channel, which was eventually CallMeCrimz. No, that was never CallMeCrimz. I don't even know my own history. The original Crimson Gamer channel got rebranded to That Crimson Guy, and it started doing content I'm not proud of to this day. So around 2016, I think maybe even 2017, I can't remember. You guys remember that's when people like Leafy is here started taking over, like the roast videos, the rant videos started becoming YouTube, and I didn't like them. I hated them 100%. But I said, you know what, maybe I'll jump on this new thing for YouTube because Let's Plays weren't working out the way I thought they would. You know, I thought, you know, I'd just start recording videos and I'd be an instant success. No. No. Even Markiplier would tell you that's unrealistic. But I was a kid. You know, I said, oh, I could be just like Markiplier. And I tried. Don't get me wrong, I did. And here I am, a full adult now, looking back on all that content. And I started roasting people. I started ranting about people, and I got so much hate. And I hated it. I got so much hate that, like, when I tried to revert back to my original content, I was getting bombed with dislikes. So many people were telling me to kill myself and stuff like that, right? And it was really, really messing with me. It was really getting to me. You know, your mental health when you're really, really young and at that age, I was in high school at the time, is very important because those are the years that are going to shape who you are as a person. And when I'm dealing with all that negativity, like, that's not going to have a positive effect on someone. Yes, I shouldn't have done what I did. I'm not proud of the content I produced at the time. But I was just a stupid little kid, and I wanted to be famous, per se, on YouTube. I wanted to make it. And when I realized that no matter what I do, these people are going to hate me, I felt like I had no other choice but to make a new channel. And I did. I rebooted my channel. And it was okay to do at the time. I was really sad that I had to do it, but realistically, I only had about like 200-300 subscribers on that account, maybe even less. I don't know what we're at right now on that channel. Because it still exists to this day. It's called The Crimson Gamer. I don't plan on ever using it again, but I did re-release all the videos because as I got older, I was like, I don't need to hide this part of my life anymore, even if I'm ashamed of it. You can't just pretend parts of your life didn't happen, right? That's a mentality I have. And I decided to re-release all of them. But, sorry, I'm getting distracted now. I then made the new channel, which was originally the Crimson Gamer, but about a month in, or maybe 2 months in, I said, you know what, I kind of want to do a bit of a rebranding, so I dropped the name The Crimson Gamer, and then that's when I became CallMeCrimz. Which, in a sense, I still am the Crimson Gamer. When I do my intro, I say, hey guys, my name's Crimson. So the Crimson Gamer. Crimson is what people used to call me when I had that name. But you can call me Crimz. So the Crimz, CallMeCrimz stands for Crimson, which stands for the Crimson Gamer. So when you think about it, I never stopped being the Crimson Gamer, to be fair. So I guess I'll always have that name. But I rebranded to CallMeCrimz, and then I started doing my thing for a while. I tried at first doing like a lot of the bigger games when I did Let's Plays, and this goes back to the original days as the Crimson Gamer. And any game Markiplier or PewDiePie would play at the time, or even Jacksepticeye, Yami Mash, I would say, okay, if that's working for them, it's going to immediately work for me. So I would do the same game they did, sometimes literally copy every single video they produced. And no, I wouldn't really get anything. I would get a few views from some of my regulars, which were mainly just my friends, and occasional hate comments, stuff like that. You do get a lot of hate on YouTube, regardless of what you do. I still get some to this day. But, you know, younger people have a harder time dealing with that negativity. And so I decided to try something different. I made some friends on YouTube, some of which I still speak to this day, some of which I don't, and I kind of wish I do, but I don't really have a way of contacting some of them, because they don't really use their socials anymore. But what some of these friends told me is, like, don't try and be like every single YouTuber. Then you don't want to be the next Markiplier. You want to be the first you. You want to be the first CallMeCrimz. You don't want to be a generic Markiplier 2.0, because then you're just copying everybody. And then no one wants to see a fraud. No one wants to watch a fraud. And that hit me deep. I was like, oh shit, you know what, you're right. Maybe instead of just pretending to be this person, like I said, I tried very hard to be Markiplier. I acted like him, I spoke like him, I used his mannerisms, and I was like, wow, maybe I have been doing this wrong the whole time. And then I decided to actually be myself, and I think when I started being myself, it's not necessarily when things took off, but I definitely felt a lot more confident in the content I was producing. I was more proud of what I was putting out there, and I felt good, you know, I felt really good. And then, so one of the things I started doing is I started doing what actually some of my friends were doing, which I thought were neat ideas, going on sites like GameJolt, I don't remember the names of the site, GameJolt, Desura, and finding indie games to play, some that were free or pretty much free, only a few bucks. To pick up, and I would review them. I would leave comments on the devs' pages. I would make friends with the developers. I loved giving back, and I loved supporting the smaller community, because it's easy for people to know about all these huge games. Like, for example, Elden Ring is dropping very, very soon. It may have already dropped depending on when I release this. But there's also like 5,000 other smaller games that are very similar to Elden Ring, for example. But a lot of people don't know about them. They don't have the attention. It's not as widespread as a lot of these major games are. And I think there's a fantastic team of indie developers out there. There's a huge amount of very talented individuals that don't really get the attention they necessarily deserve. So I wanted to play these games. Some of them were a bit more popular than others, but I tried very hard. What I would do on GameJolt, I was literally looking for games. I would intentionally click newest. I would look for games that just came out, or recently, really, really recently came out. And that's when I met Kristen Blanford, who ended up becoming a lot more well known, which I'm again very frickin' proud of him for. when I first met Christian, he was just 13 years old, and he was a game developer, and I was blown away by that. And I first played his game Devour, which I sucked at, and I very much raged at. I've actually was recently watching that video, and I'm thinking, bro, calm the fuck down, you know? And I made, like I said, I made friends with a lot of these people. I got to know them. And I told Christian, as I told all the other developers, like, you know what, if you ever have a new game that you want me to try, let me know. You know, I was so blown away with how well these games were. Devour, like, I'm not going to say it was a perfect game, but he did a very good job programming that, and the fact that he did that himself just blew me away, because I was much significantly older than that, and I've never even thought of touching any sort of game developing software, any sort of, you know, anything. Programming language, nothing. And he had a few other games that I believe I played. There was Overnight Classic, and I think the original Overnight 2. And then he came out with a game called Overnight 2 Reboot. So some of you to this day probably found me from those videos. So what Overnight 2 Reboot is it was a game created by Christian Blanford, aka CB Games, wonderful human being again. If you guys don't know him, you should check him out. I'm not sure where he might be nowadays, but I did talk to him about a year ago when I lost all the weight. He congratulated me. He was just a good kid, you know, he was, and I decided, you know what, I'll give this new game a shot. He was like, hey, I have a new game coming up, would you like to try it? I'm like, hell yes, I would. And then I played it, and it was a free roam version of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. He took the characters from the game, the map, redesigned it, and made it where, if you don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is, or if you're not familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it's just a point-and-click game. You don't actually move around. You just point and click to different cameras, doors, vents, stuff like that. Whereas in this game, you got to move around completely. You could go wherever you want in the whole area, while still doing the same tasks as the original game, with a bit of a twist, that is. You got to play it in free roam, which was huge, because FNAF was not free roam yet. It has become now, but it wasn't, and that was, I think, what made it so intriguing to people. And I played the game and I loved it. I did a bunch of videos on it because I wanted people to see this stuff. I wanted people to see the talent of Christian. And I probably did like 5 or 6 videos on it, on just what he had alone. And then when he added more patches, new updates, different nights to the game, I played them, and I kept doing my thing. And one of the things a lot of smaller YouTubers can probably agree with me on is you like looking at your analytics like almost 24/7. Like, you'll have your analytics open in real time, watching it like a hawk, going, is it going to pop up? Am I going to see a new view? Am I going to see something? That and your creator dashboard was open all the time. Because just seeing one view, one little spike is enough to make your heart race and just feel so awesome. And I used to do that, and I'd get anywhere from like 1 to 10 views a day if I was lucky, if that was a good day. And then all of a sudden I just woke up the one day. I would always leave my monitor on, so that'd be like the first thing I saw when I woke up in the morning was how my YouTube channel was doing. And I'd just go up one day and I just see, like, it used to go like this. It would like have a few spikes every now and then. I woke up and it was up like that completely, and I'm like, what? I'm like, huh? And then I looked, it said in the last hour I had 1,000 views. In the last 24 hours I had like 20,000 views. I'm like, what is going on? It turns out one of my videos from Overnight 2 Reboot was blowing up. It was the Overnight Reboot for the No Tables Challenge video. Was blowing up. And I did not understand what was going on. I'm like, why is this video all of a sudden getting all these views? And then I started getting subscribers. And I'm like, what is happening? You know? And I didn't understand why. I told Christian about it, and he was like, that is awesome. You know, that is awesome news, Crimz. He's like, I'm so happy. You deserve it. And I was glad because it was doing well for me, but it was also doing well for him because it was bringing so much more attention to his game. And then I realized why people wanted to watch my content. Why people wanted to get more of their Overnight 2 Reboot fix. In my recommended, about an hour later, I see Markiplier did a video on Overnight 2 Reboot. He called it Overnight 2 Redux for some reason. I'm not sure why. But he did his video on it, and that got, it was Markiplier. He's playing a game. It got millions of views. So his viewers wanted to see more of that content. And then it brought them to me. So then I'm like, oh my god. The first thing I did, I was at like a birthday party, and I was like, to my friends, I was like, guys, this is crazy. I said, immediately, the first thing that pops into my head is, I need to milk it. Let's make 10 more videos. And what I did is, because we were very limited on the content at the time for Overnight 2 Reboot, I think we only had 2 nights. So, and I wanted to get more out there. I would say to my audience, I would say to my viewers, give me challenges to do. Give me things you want me to do to try and survive the night, to kind of spice things up in the game. One of the things people said is no tables, and what that meant is I was what... I had a condition that doctors would call a pussy, and I was so scared of horror games. I still am to this day. And I didn't want to get chased by the animatronics. The entire nights I would hide under the tables because I don't know if it was a glitch or if it was just part of the game where when you went under the tables, you were safe. The animatronics could not get you. And I think my viewers got a little frustrated with me saying, get your ass out of there and play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And I was like, okay, so that was the no tables challenge. And I can't remember if I beat it. I think I did. This was so long ago now. And so I started doing is I started making more videos. And more videos, and those videos kept getting more views. It got to the point where I hit over 100,000 views on that video, and I think a lot more. And then I started playing more of Christian's older overnight games, and those even got views. It was crazy. And it got to a point where I became a YouTube partner. I got partnered with YouTube as a result, and that was so freaking cool. I was thinking to myself, I made it, And it was awesome for a long time. Christian was giving me early access to all the different nights, and I got to play them before a lot of people, and a lot of people wanted to see these updates because it became very, very popular. People wanted more of Overnight, and I was one of the few people that had that ability to show people things before the majority of people, like Markiplier, got to get it. I always thought that was so cool. I got to play a version of a game before he did, and I'm like, wow, this guy that I looked up to has to wait a little bit before playing a game because I need to record my video on it first. And I just felt like it was such a good feeling because I was like, wow, people are starting to look up to me the way I looked up to him. I'm thinking, like, things are going so good. This is a dream come true. And it was a dream come true, and I still think very fondly of those days. But as all good things, it did come to an end eventually. The hype eventually did die down. Christian went on to develop a lot more games, and I believe those did fairly well as well. But Overnight 2 Reboot was that hit for him, and it was that hit for me. And that's why I still, every now and then, revisit this game. For maybe like a nostalgia vibe, or maybe thinking at the bottom of my mind, what if it takes off again or something, It eventually died down, and a lot of my viewership declined majorly. And I remember being very down about it. And I was thinking, well, my career's over. I was just a one-hit wonder. And I believed that for a while. But then I eventually picked myself back up and said, you know what, you did it once, you can do it again. People got to see their first glimpse, their first taste of CallMeCrimz. And it seemed like a lot of people liked it. So I said, I'm going to stay motivated and keep uploading. And then a dark period of my life happened. I got into a really bad falling out with some friends. And I had a lot of personal stuff going on that prevented me being on YouTube for a long time. And I actually decided to quit YouTube as a result, and I moved over to Twitch, which I won't talk too much about Twitch because this video is more about YouTube. But while I was doing Twitch for a few years, I believe I was on Twitch a total of 4 years altogether, I would still occasionally do YouTube videos, whether it's re-uploading older streams, highlights, clips of the streams, or just occasionally original YouTube content, which I did originally. I didn't release occasional original content just for YouTube. But a lot of it was mainly just me trying to push my YouTube viewership over to Twitch. And then when I retired from Twitch the first time, I guess my first legitimate retirement, in July, I rebooted my channel because a lot of my subscribers were dead, so to speak. A lot of them didn't watch me. They were subscribing to me from that overnight to reboot phase. I wanted to start fresh, and I was dealing with some more personal stuff in the time. I felt like my content was kind of being watched and stalked almost. I was getting like spammed with dislikes, and I had some more personal stuff going on at the time, and I feel like a lot of this were more personal enemies disliking my videos rather than randoms on the internet. And I said I wanted to hide, I wanted to make a new channel, and then I did, and that channel did very well. All things considered, like our views to sub ratio was really good, which was the opposite of this channel. But then as time went on, I said, you know what, I gotta stop hiding from my past. Like, I had this mentality where, like, I tried to pretend parts of my life didn't exist, and I eventually, as time went on, I said, I refuse to do this. No matter how painful certain memories might have been in my life, I can't just go around and pretend they never existed. Because that damages you. That was a part of your life. You lived it. You can't just shut it all away, right? So I decided I need to embrace this. I need to use this as motivation. I want to use this to share my knowledge. Like, I don't give a shit if I had a bunch of friends that I'm no longer speaking to right now. Okay, yes, that sucks. But am I going to pretend they never existed? No. Like, for example, my ex-girlfriend. We are no longer together. Am I going to pretend every single thing I did as a content creator that had her as a part never existed? No. See, that's what I'm trying to get at, is I was hiding, and I was hiding for so long, but why do that? You know? So I decided to return to this channel this year, because one of my things I want to do this year is this is a year of finally focusing on myself and growing and doing what I want to do for once, because I always put what I wanted to do on the back burner for so damn long. Even when I thought I was doing what I wanted to do, it wasn't really, you know? I might have said to myself, alright, like, I'm doing something for me, but I never really did anything for myself for so many years. And I finally get to do that this year. I'm making that my goal. It's a goal of finding myself again, hopefully rebuilding some bridges, and just making it just an awesome year, because my last few years have been absolute dog shit. You know? So I want this to be a good year. And I said the first step to doing that and finally focusing on myself and what I wanted to do was no longer hiding from the past. So I decided it's time to go back to this channel. It's time to go back to where I come from. It's time I stop pretending this period of my life didn't exist. You know, I want to be a new person, but I also want to acknowledge my roots. I want to acknowledge where I come from. And that's why I've returned to this channel. And, you know, I'm also using it as motivation. Like, another reason is, yes, my channel's dead, so to speak, right now, but just because it's not thriving as it once was doesn't mean it never will again. One of my problems is I gave up on things too easy. I gave up on people too easily, and I'm not doing that shit anymore. You can do whatever you put your mind to, and that's why I'm putting my mind to it this time. I could, and you know what? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but you know what? I get to say that I tried. You know? I get to say I put that effort in, and I tried to make it work. And I want to make this work. I love this. I love being a content creator. I love being on YouTube. I always have and I always will. YouTube was like my first fucking love, you know? And I want to make this work. I want to make more memories. I want to inspire people the way Markiplier inspired me. The way all these people who paved the way to make YouTube what it is today. I want to do that. I want to inspire people. I want to motivate people. I want to move people. I want to build this amazing community. And I want to just have some goddamn fun doing it. And you know what? I've had many runs that have failed in the past. I've had many times where I came back and then fricked off immediately after. But I am here to stay this time. I am here to stay. I'm not saying that I'm going to be uploading every day. Hell, there might be times I go weeks without uploading. Maybe even months. Who knows what's going to be going on in my life at that time. But this is my last run on YouTube. And the reason it's my last run on YouTube is because I am not giving up again. I'm not going to stop this run and then come back a few months or even a year later and say, that's it, I'm coming back again. A lot more empty promises like I always did. I mean it this time, guys. I'm back. I'm back, and I'm ready to pursue my dreams. I'm ready to finally give myself what I want and work towards an awesome future this year. And I'm hoping a lot of you guys will join me for this ride, and this is just, I know this has been a video that's been all over the place, but I just wanted to rant, I just wanted to talk, and I'm so grateful for everything that's happened to me. I'm so grateful for my past. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to grow as a human being on this platform. All the people I met, it's just been awesome, and I can't wait for the future because I have so many things planned that I hope you guys really like, and I want this to be an awesome last run on YouTube because I am a content creator and I'm proud to say that, and this is what I want to do. This is one of the many things I want to do, is inspire people. And I think it's time I stop sitting on my ass feeling sorry for myself, blaming other people's for my mistakes, never taking accountability, which I guess is what I just said, and accept the facts and put in the work. This is going to be an awesome year, guys, and all the many years to come. And all I can say is the future looks bright. It does, especially with you in it. So let's rejoice. 2022, we're going to have a good year. We're going to get some content out and hopefully make the world a better place in the process. So thank you guys so much for watching this rant of a video, this random, unnecessary, unfiltered, random-ass freaking video. Yes, this is a vlog, but maybe not. But I mean it, guys. I'm here to stay, and this is the time we come together and make some unforgettable memories. So thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic rest of your day / night, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for watching.